The lights was bright last year, but Jarrett Allen this is game 7, Jarrett.
This is where the meme originated from. The lights were too bright following the Game 5 loss to the Knicks back in the first season we did the UCSS show. It was the first year that Donovan Mitchell was here and all that. But fast forward to the present. Jarrett Allen's coming off another dominant Game 7 performance. Evan Mobley's in the midst of the best stretch of his basketball career. We know what Cat's done. We know Mitchell Robinson has been this team's boogeyman for the last 4 seasons. So entering this Eastern Conference Finals, Zach, Jason, which big man tandem would you rather have for this particular series? Cat and Robinson or J.A. and Mobley? G, start us off.
This is tough because it's almost like you asking me to play NBA Jam. You know when NBA Jam used to have the 2-on-2 joints, and you like, man, I'm looking at the little rating, man. Robinson's defense is way over to the right, but his shooting is in the red, so I don't know. But Jarrett Allen is kind of medium in all of them. A little bit of scoring, a little bit of everything. And then Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is a good defender, but then Cat's offense is way over here. He can shoot threes. So it's tough because it depends on what the cross matchup is, right? We even talked about it in the first hour. Which one of those guys would you have guarding which? And McNuggets even said, I'll go back and forth each and every time. I think this is a very, very close matchup. I would lean towards Jarrett Allen, and I would lean towards Evan Mobley. Now, don't get it because if Mitchell Robinson kills you, he just kills you on the boards. He kills you defensively.
Right.
But if Jarrett Allen kills you, he didn't hit you for 20. He done got about 12, 13 rebounds, maybe a couple of blocks.
Yeah.
He's got your guys in foul trouble. If Evan Mobley kills you, he's a better defensive player than Cat. He can affect the game on a lot of different areas. So by a small margin, I'm going to go on the NBA Jam's tier list. I'm going to put it slightly ahead of them. I'm going to go Mobley and Allen.
If you're making me pick one, I'd take Cat over the Cavs picks.
Yes.
But when you make me take two, I would take the Cavs because Mitchell Robinson could be the difference in the series. He may barely get off the bench. I don't really know. I tend to think that he's going to play a lot, but he was 15 minutes a game in some of these past playoff games, and J.A. is going to be on the floor more than that. I would imagine. So now Mitchell had his way with Jay a couple years in that first series, and I did not like it. I remember Mitchell Robinson was laughing about it, and then he came out and did it again, and it really sort of soured me on the Jarrett Allen experience a couple years ago, and we'll see how much he's grown, and if we can get the Black History Month Game 7 Jarrett every time out.
Yeah, we will not go. The sit-in Jarrett Allen. We need to sit in ALCU. We need that Jarrett Allen. The fro pick it out a little more. Like this Jarrett Allen is different.
If he shows up in cornrows tonight, I'm in.
Cornrow Jarrett Allen is the Super Saiyan version. He get a power boost, a Zenkai boost, a speed boost, his power. Yeah, his power level just goes up with cornrows. Jarrett, do that one time for us, just one time. I don't think you're going to do it, but.
Well, the Knicks don't want Mitchell Robinson to play more than 14, 15 minutes. But the thing is, he gets in there, he gets 2 points and 11 boards in that time. Blocks a shot, just takes up space. Right. So I'm with you, Jason. The 2 versus 1 thing, I want those guys. And I think if I'm saying that the Cavs combination of sharing the defensive load, right? Sometimes Mobley's on Cat, sometimes Mobley's roaming over to cut lanes and cover more ground. I like that combination. And I think the way they've been playing, you have to like it. I'm just happy for Jarrett Allen. That quote is going to live with him. Now, more than the quote, it's the performance. But we know the world we live in. It becomes a meme. It becomes a quote. It goes everywhere. So I think the last 2 seasons, you've seen a different player, a much improved player. And I think the last 4 weeks, we've seen a much improved player, a much more aggressive player. And when he's scoring in addition to what else he does, then the Cavs are really good and can win this series.
I want to push back on something you guys said. Jason, you said if you could only take one, you take Cat.
Yeah.
You would take Cat over Evan Mobley right now, considering the level Evan Mobley's been playing at in the last 4 games and how he's played since Game 4 of the Detroit series.
Yes.
Since the Toronto series.
Because of Cat's offensive game, I would take over Evan. And I understand defensively, Evan's got him 10 times from Sunday. But if you're making me pick one, I would take Cat. I'm not saying it's a landslide, but I would take Cat.
Now,
I want to put back now real quick. I hear you, Jason. And if this was in the first 4 games of the playoffs, I'd agree. But what Evan Mobley did in game 4, 5, 6, and 7
He's phenomenal
against Detroit, against that front line, the playmaking, on top of the defense. In game 7, we saw him brush off Asar Thompson. We saw him make threes in all 4 of those games. I don't think his offensive scoring upside is as high as Cat's. I'll give you Cat as, if you're saying which one of these is more likely to go off for 30, it's definitely Cat. I don't disagree with that. But I think Evan's offensive ability is a lot closer to Cat's offensive ability compared to Cat's defensive ability to where Evan's defensive. And I would say, I think they're 1 and 2 for sure. The way Evan's playing right now, I would take Evan over Cat. I think Cat's the second pick I'd want to have. I'd have Allen third, and then Mitchell Robinson, even if his per-minute impact, maybe the highest of all 4, he's 4th by a long shot when it comes to, if you're ranking these for the series, who you'd want to have.
I'd flip 1 and 2, and I'm with you. I'd put Cat 1, I'd put Evan 2, JA 3, and Mitchell 4. And I don't think it's, I don't think Cat's burying them, but I would take the offensive upside of Cat in this series over the defensive prowess of Evan and the improved offense.
Because he's a knockdown shooter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can just the spacing allows them to do more things because you can't help off too much because they got 4 or 5 guys in that starting lineup that can hit shots. But I will say this, if Evan Mobley wants to continue, I mean, he hit a really big shot in I believe it was at game 5 in Detroit.
Yeah,
the 3-point shot.
He had a dunk, he had a 3, and he had 2 free throws. Man, he basically single-handedly brought him back.
Cooking. And that's the thing. When you start to have these guys in 2 playoff series like the Toronto Raptors series and the Detroit Pistons series that go 7, for some of the younger guys, and Evan is not old, but he's not, he's young. He's younger. He's still trying to get his footwork and figuring out what he's going to be in the playoffs. That experience of going 7 games and being pushed to the limit and you going back and forth, you grow a lot. So, if you want to get to Madison Square Garden, and if you guys have been just running through people the whole playoffs, and then you get to Madison Square Garden, you might think that the lights might be a little too bright for you. Yeah. But now you've played in 2 closeout series with rough tumblers that really was really rough riding and making the game difficult. You're not gonna come into this game and be intimidated by Cat shooting threes. You're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is what you do for your team, right? If Mobley only has 10 and 8, well, can the Cavs win? Sure. If Donovan gets 30, 35.
Right.
If Merrill hits his threes, whereas Cat, especially in this playoffs, he has had big games and the Knicks have relied on him, right? Yeah. He has put up crazy numbers. And he's been running point guard for part of the time. So
he has 66 assists in just the 6 games they've played.
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting up insane numbers, and they've been scoring like crazy. They've been making everything. He's been getting guys open shots. He's been making shots, stretching out other teams. That's kind of the matchup thing here. Can the Cavs do something differently to keep him from just taking over games, really, and running the whole offense through him?
We haven't talked about this a lot, but the Cavs can do something. Evan Mobley can do something that I think there's a level to, right? You know what he can do? He may not be able to score, 40 points, and that might not be his game. He might not do that. But you're a former Defensive Player of the Year. You know how you can affect the game? You say, listen, Cat, you was creating out there, but you're not doing that on me. I'm not saying he's Wemby, but you watch that game and how Wemby just was like, no, we're going to contest this. We're going to block this shot. We're going to Evan Mobley, as known as an elite defender, McNuggets, he's known around the league about his defensive prowess. You know how he can affect this game? If he says, whoever I'm guarding is not getting any money off, just the same way he shut Tobias Harris' water off, he gave him that disconnect notice, the pink one. You know what that pink disconnect notice looked like? He shut his water off. Tobias Harris was feeling good about himself, knocking down shots. He thought he was moving, and they said, you know what? We got something for you. We're gonna put Evan Mobley on you. Them little turnarounds, it's different with that level of contest. If he can be in Cat's head and get to a point where he's going to say, hey, whatever I do on the offensive side of the ball, if I get 17 and shut you down, then I know I'm affecting the game.
Even more important than that, and this is for Mobley and Allen, is can they survive on an island against Jalen Brunson? The Knicks run so much pick and roll for Brunson. So much. And the way their offense operates is Brunson gets these mismatches, and he's incredibly difficult to stop. He's herky-jerky. He's a great finisher. He plays with incredible pacing. He's tough to stop. But if Mobley and Allen can hold their own in those switches at the end of shot clocks and force Brunson into tough looks time after time, eventually, that's going to take its toll. Maybe not game 1, maybe not game 2, but in game 5, 6, 7 if it goes that far. And that'll be a big advantage for Cleveland. Them on Cat, they could do as good a job he can against a 7-footer who has weird angles and can score. Like, Cat's going to get his points if he can. But their ability to stay in front of Jalen Brunson on the perimeter, I think, is just as important, if not even more important, Jason, when it comes to Allen and Mobley defensively in this series.
And that's why when you said start with Strus on Brunson, my first thought was, whew, I don't like the odds of that for the Cavs, but if they're going to be switching everything, how much is Strus actually going to be on Brunson? You know?
Yeah, especially if they're switching a lot. Like, I think, too, and we kind of got to this, and I think we'll kind of get to this here in a minute, but, man, we haven't talked a lot about Max Strus, and to me, he's one of the biggest X factors that we've seen, like, in these playoffs.
We're going to do Strus in a second. Before we do that, we just talked about the bigs. What about the star guards in this series? Donovan versus Brunson. If you had to pick one of those two for this particular series right now, would you take Jalen Brunson or would you take Donovan Mitchell?
I don't know how you take Donovan the way he's shooting right now.
It's tough, man. It's tough because Jalen Brunson traditionally plays well against Donovan Mitchell, but then again, you know, it's Donovan. Like he had he can, both of them can get you 30 or 40 real quick.
Yeah.
And especially in game ones and early in these series. So that's almost the closest one. The big battle is close. Brunson, it's like a toss up. Like it's a
two really talented teams.
I think Cat and Mobley's closer for me than Brunson and Don, just because the way Don has not looked like himself more games than not.
No, that's true, and it's alarming. But he was a maestro on Sunday night.
He was terrific.
He cooked Sunday. What's the one where he had 40? What did he have 40 something?
It's game 4.
Game 4, he had 40. The thing is, he hasn't shot the ball well from 3. You know, I like what he did on Sunday. Was he made a point to get to the basket, which helped him out a lot. So to me, it's a toss up. But I think whoever gets to the free throw line more, I think that person is going to be the most effective because Brunson does do the pick and roll, and he's really a monster in the mid-range game. And for a guy that's that small, he loves to be amongst the trees. He loves to float. He has a nice little pull-up game. He even backs people down. So for me, I think I will know if Donovan Mitchell is cooking by whether or not he gets to the basket in the first quarter. Then I'll know what type of Don we're going.
I agree. I think the body language has been evident. And, you know, Game 6, you looked and you wondered and you worried, but he came right back out in Game 7. So he loves the Garden. He loves the stage. And we know if this Cavs team is going to reach its ceiling, which is probably winning this series, right, then it's got to be Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't have to be 7 great games or even 4 phenomenal games, but somewhere along the way, if the Cavs are going to win this series, there is a 40-point Donovan Mitchell complete takeover out there. Can he make enough threes to do it? We'll see.
I'm trying to see which one. Which game? I'm thinking which game. There's one of them. You hope to get one. I'm trying to think and figure out. I'm interested to see which game does it look like the Cavs kind of say, we think we can get this one. Because there is a certain thing to be said. Like in these playoff games, obviously you're going to play to the final buzzer, but there's certain times if you see the Knicks come out here and they look like they rusty or lethargic or they look like they have not been playing in a while, go ahead and put the pedal to the metal. If you smell blood, go ahead and try to get you one quick.
Yeah, you're trying to come home 1-1, period. That's it. If you can come home 1-1, it doesn't matter which one. You'll feel really good about where you are. Mike, who would you take, Jalen or Donovan?
For tonight or just in the series in total?
In the series.
I mean, Brunson's played better in the playoffs. It's hard to go against that. But I feel like this matchup for Donovan is significantly better than the first 2 rounds with Detroit and with Toronto, just in terms of how they play defensively, what they will try to do. And I think Donovan, what he kind of unlocked in game 7. And I think, I don't know, you played at a high level in sports. You know when the game slows down, eventually it slows down, you start to see stuff. I think being a passer and a playmaker when you're getting downhill, and the reason we saw it in Game 7 was the game finally slowed down for Donovan. He was taking some weird floaters that he'd made a lot and been efficient at times in Games 1 through 6 and against Toronto, but he was missing the obvious stuff. And Kenny Atkinson said, hey, we got to take the singles sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. We don't always have to hit the home run. And he said that as a team philosophy. I think he was talking straight to Donovan with that. Hey, if they're going to come up and contest, dump it off to the dunker. That's why we have these 2 bigs. The game finally slowed down for him in Game 7. He can't play much worse than he had for stretches of the first 2 series against the New York team that isn't as good defensively. I think it's going to be a big Donovan series, but Brunson's played better in this playoffs. I think you'd have to lean Brunson if you have to make
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go on a limb and say this. Here's where I think Donovan will be better. I think that there is a weight lifted off his shoulders that he is finally in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think that there's a big thing that was like, you can't get past this round. You can't get past this round. They win a Game 7 on another team's floor in blowout fashion. I think he actually plays in this series free. I think to a certain extent, and this is maybe good or bad, but in certain people's minds, he's like, okay, this is house money. This is where we needed to go for this thing not to get blown up. We made it here. Now we're here. Hey, let's enjoy it. And while we're here, we might as well go ahead and dance with the pretty girl.
Well, let's make sure the brooms don't come out before we say this thing's not going to get blown up. But I'm with you, G. Like, I think the way the Cavs try to assert themselves tonight in 1 and try to set the tone for the series is to go to the bigs. So Donovan is much more of a passer than scorer tonight. I'm totally fine with that, and I actually think that that's the way it's going to go.
I think the Knicks are better defensively, Mike, than you're giving them credit for. Bridges had a great series defensively against Philly, and I mean, he's not a Sar Thompson. I'll grant you that. But New York is pretty good defensively.
They're best defensively when OG, Bridges, and Robinson are on the court together. I'm not sure how much of a role Robinson's going to have in this series over for those little stretches, and OG's coming off a hamstring strain, which granted he had a week off, but it's a hammy. Who knows how long the hammy's
and we haven't talked about that. But you're right. Like, he missed the last, 1 or 2 games of the Philly
missed 2
series.
games. He's going to play tonight, but it's a hammy. And you never know with the hamstring.
Yep.
And OG, who's really good when healthy, he's not a pinnacle of a beacon of good health. So we'll see.
I'll take anything I get. Amen. It's the playoffs. Hey, cry me a river.
Yeah, no, listen, we all agree on one thing. 1 game here, right? The Cavs want 1 game tonight or Thursday. The Cavs win tonight. I don't care Thursday if they trot out Porter and Tomlin. Let everybody rest, right? Come home 1-1 and win the series from there.